The video I made about Filtex central vacuums did not include any commercial Filtex units, and up until that point I had seen only one in a private home in the Chicago area, and the owner was not about to trade one in, so I was really on the lookout for another one. As you can see, I've gotten 3 times what I wished for. The machine that I was after was the CTS 500, and here's one of these over here to the right. This one's from about 1979. Came from a 6-flat apartment building up here in Elmwood Park. And these two are, you could call them CTS 500s, but they're not. They really don't have a model number. They were built, I think, just as one-off sort of prototypes for the installation they were in. In '69, the Morton Grove Public Library received a central vacuum system, and these two units were piped together in tandem, so anytime you open one of the inlets in the library, they both turned on, and you had 4 motors going. Each machine has 2 motors in series, and then the machines themselves were in parallel, so you had twice the air movement and twice the water lift capability of one of these motors by itself. So it gave you great performance, until of course the motors start going bad and the seals, the piping between the motors starts leaking, and then it didn't work so well. Here's an example of one of these 7.5 inch motors. 7.5 of course refers to the diameter of the fan housing, and they're 3-stage. This motor is built in a 2-stage configuration, but that's not got nearly as good performance. But 3 fan stages, and the carbon brushes are 2 brushes on each side to contact the unusually tall commutator, which you can see in there. This is a 240 volt motor, and the 120 volt version has commutator bars that are twice as wide, and the brushes themselves are also twice as wide. These are little skinny ones. I haven't seen that in other Amatec lamp motors. Usually you can only tell the voltage from the windings, which are different gauge wire for different voltages. So this was pretty cool. Yep. Let's plug in the series motor machine. In the Filtex brochure, it says the CTS 500 is available with 2 motors in parallel only, not series. And I would love to know how this machine came about, because the motors are in series. And I wonder if they had problems with it or what. I would assume maybe heat buildup was an issue, because otherwise it's a darn good performer, and 2 of them. Look out. This machine, though, is the CTS 500 with the motors in parallel, and it's quite a good performer also. Not as good as the TC 600, those motors are higher performance, but has a much nicer sound to it, and very, very good cleaning performance at the end of the hose. And these being commercial units, Filtex gave them an extra large capacity 16-gallon bag so that you didn't have to change it as often. So I guess that means at the library they had 32 gallons of total dirt capacity before you had to empty them. So pretty cool.